suppose next would be, for the record, in your opinion, to settle this, which fighting game do you think is the hardest to learn? And I already know the answer, but is it KOF 15? Is it Tekken 7 or Virtua Fighter 5?
Actually, I'm gonna not answer that question. I'm kidding.
All
I'm
right,
kidding.
that's
It's
fine.
here's what I mean. Here's what I mean, though. This is very similar to the discussion about what keeps people out of fighting games.
Mhm.
What is hard to a person will vary. Some people find it hard to practice in general. Other people find it hard very specifically to do an electric. And other people find it hard to very specifically do Kazuya's 13 frame electric rather than the 14. Any one of those barriers might be the reason why they find Tekken particularly hard to learn, but they find Virtua Fighter simple.
Mhm.
But the irony is, Virtua Fighter will sometimes have you moving the joystick just as fast as doing an electric, and sometimes you'll be layering. Like, just to give an example, this is a basic defensive option select. Down, forward, brief, neutral, up, neutral, forward, guard. Corner, up, forward, guard. Right? And this is done in like half a second. Is that harder than an electric? For some people, yes. For some people on hitbox, definitely no. For other people on hitbox, definitely yes. I don't use my ring finger that much, or my index finger. You know what I'm saying? Like, is Tekken hard to learn? Well, you have to block a lot. Well, that will make it hard for some and simpler for others. And I hate having to say, like, it gives such an answer that seems like it's a little bit indecisive, but, you know, on the face of it, it's like, well, KOF is fast and it's hard to anti-air. On the face of it, well, Tekken has 1,000 strings and you have to learn what's punishable and where the highs and the lows are, and that makes it tough. Virtua Fighter has an awkward timing and rhythm that you have to get used to, and there's a block button. How do block buttons work? You only have punch and kick. How do you make a fighting game out of just punch and kick? Try it, you'll see.
Yeah.
But it's like, what makes a fighting game hard is whatever you are weakest at as a person. And it is that part of the game that will bring you enjoyment and fulfillment if you can work on it. This is where I'm, going a little bit into rhetoric, but it's like, what is most engaging about a fighting game for me, and what I would argue is most engaging about a fighting game, even for others that don't know it yet, is when you recognize that you have grown. When you recognize that there was something you couldn't do that now you can do. It's the parts of the game that are hard that make them interesting and worth engaging with. And if you don't do, if you think about what's hard and see those as barriers, then you aren't appreciating the game as much as you could. Like, everything that's hard about a game is a challenge you can overcome. And granted, it's a video game, like we said, some people don't want to practice all day, people just want to de-stress or whatever. But if you want to get the most out of the fighting game experience, you should keep trying to do things that you currently can't do. And you'll reach a point where you can do more than everyone around you. And then you start winning. And then it takes shape as something completely different. And then, you can take it to a different type of competitive journey if you would like. Like, it's sort of like, do you want to be a teacher or do you want to be a destroyer? Serlin wrote about this in Playing to Win. Despite anything else you may have heard about him and things that have been done, that book is still extremely relevant, and I recommend you read it.
What
Again,
book? What's the title of the book? Just for people
Playing
that
to
don't know.
Win.
Playing to Win.
David
Okay.
Serlin.
Playing to Win by David
Never
Serlin.
read it. I'll check it out.
It's a very quick read. But like, it's when you reach a point in fighting games where you can actually do things, you decide what to do with that. Do you want to teach people? Do you want to dominate people? Do you want to instill fear in people? Or do you want to, just have fun playing wonky characters now that you have the ability to play them? Just getting back to the original question, what's the hardest game? It's like, you should pick the hard game, in my opinion. If you can stand it. If you like the way Tekken 8 looks, but you think that it's hard, then you should definitely play Tekken 8, because you will grow, and then your opinion on Tekken 8 will change, and you'll start having lots and lots more fun. And if maybe you play Tekken already and it's like, I'm curious about Virtua Fighter, but it seems hard, then you should play it. And then you will grow, and then you'll take a new perspective on it. Just keep getting fresh perspectives and keep growing. And that is how you get the most out of fighting games.
Gotcha. Excellent answer.
All right.
Yeah,
What
mean,
what if you end up as the man who's great at fighting, good at fighting games, but too good to play as friends? You got to find new friends. Is that
I mean, help your friends get better, and if they don't want to get better, that's a separate issue. But you know, at the end of the day, it's a social thing. People have different limits, you know. If you get into baseball, not all your friends are going to want to run around the baseball field all day. Not everyone is going to want to do it. So there's always going to be an element of, you know, people will join and leave at different times of their lives when they're ready for it, when they're not ready for it. They'll have different experiences. It's a life experience thing, right? So it can be frustrating to be in a physical place or at a certain skill level where it feels like you're not getting the experience that you want. And my advice for those people is that that's how it is now. That's not necessarily how it's going to be tomorrow or in a month or in 3 months. And you are in a place and you have the ability to change where you're going. There's a future that you can make if you work on specific things, and there are people that are willing to help you work on those specific things. I can't help you with the boring stuff, the population density, the socioeconomics, the where you live, but I can help you with some of the other stuff. And if that's the hurdle, get someone like that to help you, because it will absolutely help you get to where you want to be with fighting games. Yeah, that's what I would say.